Welcome to the Geek Arena podcast, powered by 1776 Gaming, where nerd culture meets patriot power. Whether you're rolling a D20, grinding for loot, arguing over who the best Batman is, or binging sci-fi until 3 a.m., you've found your people. Each week, we dive headfirst into the world of gaming, comics, tech, movies, and everything gloriously geeky with no holds barred and zero filter. Hosted by the crew that brought you 1776gaming.com, we're not just players, we're freedom-loving fanatics bringing that revolutionary energy to every topic, guest, and hot take. Strap in, squat up, and let the geek flag fly. This is the Geek Arena.
All right. Thanks to Eric for that badass introduction, as always. And welcome to the Geek Arena podcast. During the primer, I mentioned that we were going to be interviewing various members of the community, and it's our pleasure to be bringing you Krahnicle as our first streamer interview for the podcast. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Finer and Frog here, split three ways, boys. Thanks for asking. So in the true spirit of history and things like that, with us being the 1776 clan, I would like to start off, Kron, with a good little question. For the people who don't know, what's your origin story? How did Krahnicle become Krahnicle?
Well, the nickname Krahnicle really started when I was back in high school. Someone had called me it in the library one day, and it just stuck. For a while, people were calling me like Chronicles of Narnia and stupid stuff like that. So, it kind of stuck. Once I got towards my senior year, I was, smoking a little bit. So, it switched to Chronic, and then,
that's funny.
It's just kind of stuck around, and my last name being Kron as it is actually means crane farmer, so that's where my logo comes from, is the little crane. So a little tidbit there.
Oh, nice. That is absolutely phenomenal. Well, they know Fix. What have you been into today?
Hi. How are you? Well, I've been glued to this computer all day long, messing around with the website, doing the blogs, just searching for content and adding it to the website. Played a little bit of PUBG today with Hellspawn and Scotch. We got tore up.
Of course.
We got ran through, for lack of better words.
All right.
And this PC is literally melting as we speak. My fans are going out. So last night, I pretty much put a gun to Hellspawn's head and made him tell me which PC to buy. So I just literally clicked the link and purchased a new one. So it'll be here on the 13th.
Nice.
Perfect. Speaking of clicking the link, for those of you who are listening, we have several streamers here in the community that like to get down on different schedules and stuff like that. So make sure that whenever you see those notifications pop up, that you stop by and show them a little bit of love, and just kind of take that on from there. Well, with the first question for Kron out of the way, I would like to really kind of dig in and get a little bit more in depth with you there, man. How do you feel about that?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, this one sounds like a good one. You can only play one game for a year. What is your pick and why?
That's pretty tough because I normally play shooters and stuff throughout the stream, but for a year alone, I'm assuming this is probably solo play, no multiplayer. So I would have to pick probably Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's one of mine that I just always go back to, play it at least once a year. So it's something I could probably play for a full year.
Oh, perfect.
Star Wars is awesome.
Star Wars is
I
awesome.
had an N64 Star Wars game that I used to play constantly. I forget what they even called it, but all I really did is I went to the level where they had those bikes that floated. What are they called?
Speeder bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, those things. I would just see how fast I could get through the map.
All right. So when did you get into streaming, and what kind of precipitated that?
So I was at the time playing League of Legends, and it just, I don't know. One day I was like, I'm playing. I might as well be streaming. What's the point not to? And it's been growing since then. I had a few very good years and then had to take a pretty big break. So, but we're back. What are we growing?
Back with a vengeance, baby.
Oh yeah.
Did so kind of bringing up the N64 game that They No Fix was talking about. Uh, what is the first game that you really got into? This is kind of bringing us back a little bit.
So, yeah, back when I was in, let's see, I graduated, or graduated air quotes, 8th grade from middle school to high school, and my parents bought me an Xbox and Halo Combat Evolved, and that's really where, I really started playing video games more. Just couldn't put it down. I'd have all my friends come over. We'd do LAN parties, which I miss LAN parties like it's nobody's business.
Zero lag.
Oh, yeah.
Zero lag.
Yeah, that and everybody's in the same room. It's
LAN
a
parties.
culture, Got all your
Dude, you remember the BO from
oh,
LAN
God,
parties?
yeah.
Everybody had free because they already hadn't showered for 3 days, and you get them all in a room
yeah, and
together.
you're up all night,
Yeah, paint peeling off walls.
Yeah, everybody munching on Doritos and drinking their Mountain Dew.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what was the big draw for you with that game? Like, what stood out about it the most that kind of made you step back and be like, this is what I want to do with my time?
Well, honestly, it was fairly violent, but at the same time, the story was so good. It drew me in and it just kept me going. I mean, and then soon after that, Halo 2 came out, and then there was books and all this lore came out, and it just was something awesome to stay behind.
Yeah.
Until Bungie sold it and it went to shit.
God, I remember when that happened, dude. I got pulled in on Halo Reach after I'd gotten reintroduced into the franchise. And for me, that was like the ultimate multiplayer shooter experience when it came to like TDM and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was immaculate for me. And then went from there to Battlefield 3, and never looked back after that point, dude. It was just all pretty freaking amazing, I think. But nothing ever really scratched that itch like Halo back before it was bought out.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
it's pretty damn.
They
nostalgic.
still, I think they just not too long ago took down the original Halo 3 servers.
Oh wow, that long?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think it might have been last year.
Goodness.
All right. So back, kind of circling back to the whole streamer side of things, dude. Do you remember your first viewer?
Oh, I cannot, but I do have Mike. Mike's been around.
Good
Mike's
old
been
Mike.
around for quite a long time. He's been on a journey, that's for sure.
How many years would you
at
say?
least 7.
Dang.
Jeez, dude. So you guys have been together for a long time. Dude, that's right about when 1776 started, right about then. So, yeah.
Well, no, it might be more like 9. It was about 2016, 2017.
Sweet.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I did the math the other day, and I think that 1776 has been around since 2015. Don't quote me, because nobody knew it was going to grow into what it is,
Right.
But Isn't it crazy, man? We're kind of long in the tooth when it comes to gaming.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
How are we so bad?
Right? Especially something
You know, how are we
like
so bad?
PUBG that we've been playing probably since release.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I could look it up, see how many hours I have in it. It's over 2,000.
That's
That's
nasty,
it's
dude.
actually a really good segue into the next question I have for you here. What game makes you rage the most?
Oh, it's got to be PUBG. I mean, it's it's the game we keep coming back to, but it's one that we yell at a lot. That's for sure.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
Took me
definitely.
Hey, what give me one moment in your stream where you did something. I don't know, maybe you farted or you were picking your nose, right? But you realized what you did, and then you thought to yourself, I cannot believe that just
Okay,
happened.
so in my early days of streaming, I remember this quite vividly. I thought I had ended my stream. I got up and I changed my shorts on stream. Yeah.
please
So
tell me you had like 100 viewers at the time, bro.
no, I don't think I had anybody viewing other than one guy. I remember his name was Murder for Hire,
Oh Lord.
and he had sent me a message on Discord about it. He's like, "So we just change on stream now, huh?" I was
Wait.
like, "What?"
Well, you didn't know you
I
stopped by
looked at
my
my stream
OF?
was still live.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's
that
embarrassing.
was
At least you didn't
right.
fart,
Well, that was
and at least you were probably
yeah,
wearing undies.
I was, but like still,
Oh, good.
that was the days before I had the PR back screen or any of the pretty things that I have now.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
So we just covered what the worst moment was. What do you think your best stream moment so far has been?
That's it's tough to say because there's so many years of stuff, and all has been good, really. Um, I had a partnered friend who rated me for like 1,500 people one time. That's probably right up there on the list. But yeah, I can't think of one single thing that's just been so good to put at the top
Well, you
of that.
know, you're pushing almost 10,000 subscribers on YouTube now.
Yeah, actually, we can get a quick check.
It's pretty darn good, brother. What do you attribute to that? I mean, because look, you've got and we have streamers in the community as well that are maybe sponsored or affiliate that that's kind of where they want to go. Obviously, they're streamers, but I mean, what have you done to try to succeed as a streamer? I mean, on the Twitch side as well as the YouTube side.
A lot of it has to do with networking. Back in the day, I networked my butt off. Not so much this time, but I've fallen into such a great group like 1776 here that's helping all that in the backstage. So, networking is definitely the um, number one thing that needs to be done. You need to meet new people and, not just meet them, but sit down and chit chat and brainstorm. Because you never know what's going to work for you or for them. It's all subject to the viewers, so it's really tough to think of everything on your own.
So do you attribute to like you creating a massive amount of shorts to
Yeah, on the YouTube side, yeah, it's got to be mostly the shorts. They're getting my subscribers pulling in, which is great. And for only
Gosh,
for
man.
doing it for 3 months or 4 months and having almost 10,000 subscribers, I think that's a pretty big leap.
I
That
think it
is
is.
pretty
It's huge, man.
phenomenal. From where I'm sitting, somebody that doesn't really know much about the space, it's actually quite impressive. 10,000 people decided that they want to go on that journey with you, and kind of be a part of what you have going on. How does that make you feel, um, either at an ego standpoint or, maybe the pressure's on, Um, what would you say? How would you say that motivates you? Probably.
Yeah, it definitely motivates me and humbles me that like people are wanting to watch my stuff. You know, for the longest time, I thought I was just sitting here playing video games and nobody cared.
Oh, yeah.
So to have that leap this year in everything, like viewer numbers for Twitch is going up, even subscriber numbers on YouTube. It's kind of surreal, honestly, with how many years I've been doing this for this to take a turn like it did this year after so many years of it
Right.
being irrelevant.
And it's
Well, everybody and their brother wants to be a streamer.
Yeah,
I mean, good God, it's like, how do you differentiate yourself from others? And I think you hit the nail on the head. Finding a group of individuals that you're willing to go to battle with, like the old Travism. What do you say? If you want to go far, or if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think that's very true. Pulling up many minds together, all trying to get to the same point, is definitely advantageous. So
yeah, just a little old point of clarification. Somebody way smarter than me once said that, and I stole it.
it
it's
It
okay.
doesn't make it any less true though. But
makes you just as wise to learn
Yeah,
from it.
that's right. That's right,
right.
man. What is one fact about you that you think people would be surprised to learn?
Uh, you know, with how much time I spend on this computer, I'm a big outdoorsman. I love camping. I love fishing. A lot of that's not really shown through on the stream or in any kind of way, but I do like to do all that stuff. It's been a while since I've done it, but once we get to a certain point, I might be able to bring that into the lifestyle of the stream and YouTube and whatnot.
Man,
That would be
what's
cool,
your
man. So you're in Arizona. I'm not going to
Right.
say where, for OPSEC
Right.
purposes, right? But you've got a lot of backcountry
Yeah, we
out
do.
there, right?
I went camping like 2 years ago up north. It was a great time. It's been so long since I've camped that it was just nice to disconnect for a weekend.
Was it hot?
No, it was freezing. We went in April, and
Oh,
up
really?
north it was 32 degrees in the morning, like a high of 60.
It's funny that you even, mentioned that, because I live up here. I live in Wyoming. I live right next to Yellowstone. And people up here, when you start talking about video games, it's all a bunch of old timers, and they liken video games to the my mind is going blank now. You know how your grandparents are always saying, he's spending too much time on the video games. He's gonna grow up to be dumb
Right.
and all this. But like, I take my snowmobile all the way up to 10,000 feet into the backcountry, where if something happens, you're dead. All of the hunting up here. I mean, to be a gamer, you don't have to be some fat pizza face slob that sits in front of your computer all day. No offense to fat pizza face slobs.
thank you?
But there are a lot of people that I've met that they don't ever mention it until you mention it. You know what I'm saying? Until you
Right.
bring it up. I've actually struck up a lot of conversations with people up here who are wranglers for ranches, park rangers. I've had conversations about games with all these types of people. So anyways, since you mentioned that, I thought I would mention that. I think it's pretty cool that the generation that grew up playing video games is now so normal. It is what we do to
Right.
decompress, right? It's what we do to get
Yeah.
away for a bit. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, video games are coming more mainstream too. You know, it's not just nerds playing them.
What's wrong with being
Nothing.
a nerd?
Not a
I
thing.
didn't say there was.
What's wrong with being a nerd
I'm
or
just
a
saying
geek?
I was called a nerd in
Just-
high school for playing video games.
This is the Geek Arena podcast.
All right, all right. So let's get a little deep real fast. This one's going to be pretty good. So you've been streaming now for about how long?
2017 ish, so 8 years.
Pretty good chunk of change, man, with almost a whole decade under your belt. All right. We know that trying to be a streamer in today's day and age is about like going to Nashville with a guitar and trying to be a country singer. What advice would you have for some young kid, or hell, even an old middle-aged, basement dwelling pizza face dude that wants to get into the space? What would probably be your biggest piece of advice for somebody that's just getting into the arena?
Well, first off, it's just do it and stay consistent. Those are the two biggest things for the most part. The second biggest thing is audio. Always just make sure your audio is fine, and everything else will fall into place.
All right.
Because nobody wants to come in and if your mic sounds like crap or the game is too loud and they can't hear you, nobody's gonna stick around for that kind of stuff.
Have you ever looked up PUBG audio and have you ever noticed how important it is in that game too? Just from the game, not like from the streaming perspective, but just from hearing audio.
Audio is the most important thing in gaming and in streaming. It needs to be on point. Sometimes you gotta spend money for it. Sometimes you can get through by on a few cheap methods, but
I feel that is the thing that everybody neglects. Like nobody knows anything really about audio.
That's true.
Until you find somebody that does know.
I don't.
And then,
yeah, and we have a couple of guys that know.
After 8 years of dealing with audio issues, I feel like I'm a pro audio engineer.
Oh yeah, man. Speaking of consistency, what kind of stuff inspires you when you're feeling off your game to push through and keep going?
A lot of it is just hitting the go live button and having just one person come in to talk, and then boom, it flicks a switch, and my headache either goes away or subsides for at least an hour or two for me to do a mini stream. So,
all right.
That's awesome. Hey, I've got a quick question for you, Kron. How did we meet?
Oh,
here we go.
It was a lonely night on PUBG. Me and Mike jumped in a random's casual match with you guys, and oh man, you guys were both a little inebriated, saying the weirdest shit, and
plug in the groove.
Then after that, we played 2 or 3 more rounds, and then it took off from there.
So for those of you that are listening, the way that I recollect it was that we joined a match with 2 dudes. One had TTP in his name, and so I had to say something. And I said, "You're not a real streamer." And he literally goes, "I'm streaming right now." And I said, "No, you're not. If you were, you'd go to 1776gaming.com and join the Discord."
Yeah.
And he did. So he's a real streamer, folks. He's not a charlatan or some cult leader.
He's definitely not playing pretend, and I'm honest to God surprised that you didn't walk away from that evening with at least a good 3-day ban.
Right.
Because for you to say that we were inebriated is being quite generous.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, because like when I'm drinking playing games, I'll start to yell and I'll think I'm talking, and I think I remember yelling. I'll have to go back and watch your stream from that night,
Oh,
but
there
it's
was
probably pretty
definitely
obvious.
yelling, wailing, gnashing of teeth. You know,
Did we win anything? Because I do remember in that conversation that I did let you know that me and Traveling Man had committed to winning this game for you guys. Did we win anything?
I think we got second. 'Cause
Okay.
we had bad positioning at the end, but
So we got
yeah.
first loser.
now what was fun is whenever we kicked it into bodyguard mode, and we were like,
Yeah.
we have to protect this man at all costs, and we were getting knocked by the dumbest shit. Freaking bots were eating us from like halfway across the map and stuff. It was terrible.
And you turned out being our bodyguard. We thought we were
Yeah.
protecting you.
Shut him down. Pick me up. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I know Mike was frustrated, probably having to pick us up.
I like yelling at Mike. Mike, I'm in a fight. What are you doing? Mike!
Do you remember your worst PUBG match?
No, but I just recently had my worst Tarkov raid.
Mm.
Oh no.
I spawned and died in 10 seconds, so
How?
it was it was not good.
Did you yell hacker?
I'm sorry.
I didn't even know what happened. I just spawned. I looked up. I was like, "Oh, cool!" I put my hands on the keyboard and mouse. And was dead.
Oh wow.
Hackers.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, all matches in PUBG are
Man,
fun.
that's rough.
There's always ups and downs. You know, when we do hot drops and we're placed 27th out of 28th, it's like, but I wouldn't consider them bad matches.
Man, what do you think about the freaking AI learning that's happening with bots over there right now?
I think it brings more flavor to the casual mode.
Oh,
Makes it a little bit more of a challenge. Makes you get more practice before you jump into the live matches, for sure.
man, that's a very diplomatic way of saying dog shit flavor.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't learned enough yet. It's
You want to know what I heard?
what's that?
I heard, I cannot remember where I read this, but evidently they're about to come out with a mode where you're gonna have an AI team. So you can kind of direct your guys where to go. You can direct them to pick you up and that kind of
Oh,
stuff. Now, I don't know if that's coming with PUBG 2, you know, but I thought that was interesting. Not that I would even play that. I'm too much of a sweat, right?
yeah, you are.
But the fact is, it's scary that the bots some of them are as good as they are. Me and Trav had one bot kill. Well, it's me, Trav, and Mikey Hawley. One bot killed all of us one night.
Yeah,
And I watched the replay, and this thing was wigging out, pointing the gun towards the air, shooting. I thought it was a hacker.
Wow.
dude, it wasn't even like a straightforward firefight. No, this whole thing played out over about 5.5 minutes. There were multiple knocks on our side, you know.
Right.
It wasn't one of those straightforward deals where we just get ran through. Like this was a sustained firefight. And Mikey got knocked a bunch of times. I got knocked a bunch. Grant was overdoing Grant shit. And then eventually, you know, he came back around and was like, yeah, guys, I'm going to save you. I'm going to grab your chip. No, not at all. Bought shit all over him, just like it did us. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
It's a super bot.
Yeah. I've not seen anything like it since, by the way.
The Average Sniper did a video on the same thing because he ran across one, and he's got a whole video. Like he followed the bot from jump to the end of the game, and it was on crack, dude.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of that dude, he puts out like major league content He's one of my go-tos for these update vids and stuff.
Yeah, I need to get the ball rolling on getting better on video cameras. I mean, I could do live. It's when I'm recording myself that it's my biggest problem. It feels unnatural.
Taint natural.
You're the
I know,
star.
but just I don't know.
Man, just think about how we feel right now. Like we stay absolutely out of the public eye if we can. And then I guess a little blast from the past
we are.
thing. Like here we are interviewing you, but even more than that, like this fool flies me out to Georgia to do a firearms training course with him. And as an instructor, right? So teaching the class with him. Now we got like 45 people looking at me. I don't know if it was that many, but it felt like 5,000. I'm not even kidding,
Right.
dude. It was terrible.
Well, when the shot timer broke.
Oh my
Tell 'em
God,
about
dude.
when
The shot timer
broke.
crapped out. And for those of you listening that don't know anything about, weapons and weapons training and stuff like that, a shot timer is a really awesome little device. It's battery operated typically. And what that thing does is it will set off a tone and it'll go beep, and then that's your cue to start shooting stuff. And it counts every shot based on the audio that it gets in the environment. Well, somebody, not gonna say any names here, but somebody forgot to put new batteries in the son of a bitch, and
Yeah, my
and it
bad.
took
My
a dump
bad.
on us right in the middle of trying to get these guys qualified. And nobody yells louder than the 300-pound man on the range. So it was up to me to be the shot timer at that point. And so I'm walking around yelling for people to shoot, giving them the command, and I had no idea that I was being recorded.
He would walk behind people and they would actually physically grimace and wince.
Yeah, that was pretty cringe.
When he was yelling. Yeah, it was pretty cringe.
And then he posted it on the internet because he thought it was cool. And yeah.
Because he thought it was funny.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I got thrown out and amongst how many views did that thing even get?
Oh, I don't
It was a
even know.
bunch.
I don't know.
It was too many. It was way too many.
Do you ever see yourself streaming anything else other than games, like going out and doing, or not even streaming, making videos, like making backcountry camping videos or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched base on this earlier. Once we get a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more growth, I am opening or willing to open up more aspects of my life. I'm trying to figure out how I can get doing pinball onto the stream.
Oh yeah, you're a pinball champion. I forgot about that.
I did poorly.
Tell us about
I
pinball.
did poorly today, but yeah, pinball. I just started about a year ago, and it's become my out of the house hobby. That it's just.
So I'm curious about if there is when you go to pinball, and since you're new, is there like one dude who's like wearing the big collar shirt from the 70s and big Ray-Bans, or and who's got like a mullet, who's just the kingpin that everybody wants to beat? Is there that guy in pinball?
There is. He doesn't really come around anymore to our side of the valley, but Mark Pearson. Well, he's not the guy this year, but Mark Pearson he's a national place finisher and is just really good at the game. He played in Germany last year. He gets to travel. He's a
Wow.
pro. He's on the pro circuit.
Is it that big? Pinball is that
it
big?
is that big.
How much money is behind this?
I don't know because I'm not. I haven't. I'm not on a national level, so I'm not even on a state level yet. So
And who the heck sponsors a pinball team? Or is it an
It's an individual
thing?
Stern sponsors a lot of tournaments, so you basically enter the tournament and you get points, and then IFPA, International Pinball Association, they track those points and give you your position internationally.
That's cool.
I think internationally I'm 7,000 something.
So we may see you on billboards one day.
Maybe on my own pinball machine.
Yeah, the Krahnicle
Yeah.
pinball machine. That would be
pretty
neat.
cool.
That'd be dope as hell.
Dude, I want to make a 1776 pinball machine now.
That's a pretty sick idea, man.
That's cool. I'll get on that.
You want to do like a virtual one? Because I got a guy that can kind of do that, make an emulator.
no.
I don't know if it would be as good.
This has to be for reals.
So, speaking of pinball, like what would it take for a person to get to that level where they're on the National League level?
Oh, oof. I wouldn't know. I know it takes a lot of time. I know Mark is retired, so he plays a lot, and he owns a lot of the machines in the valley, like at arcades and stuff. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice.
I'm gonna start calling you semi-pro.
Semi-pro. That was a good movie.
Yes, it was. So was Kingpin. Did you catch the reference earlier? Oh, have you seen Kingpin?
I have. That's the bowling movie, though, right?
Yeah.
With Matthew McConaughey,
Woody Harrelson.
Harrelson, and Bill Murray.
Two funny guys.
Do it.
That's for sure.
So what are you streaming? Are you streaming tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump into Star Wars: The Old Republic since it's May the 4th. It's one of those MMOs that I like to go through and play. I've gotten 3 out of the 8 storylines done, so I think I'm gonna start a new storyline and a new character tonight.
Nice.
Cool, man. Well, I think that we can wrap this thing up. Do you want to go ahead and give your channel names out and make sure that people know to like and subscribe to your content?
Yeah, all my channels are named Krahnicle, and they're easy to find. I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Spell that for people.
Krahnicle.
Cool. Trav?
Hooked
anything?
on Phonics worked for me, man. I got nothing.
Nothing.
And I still can't spell. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being on the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
And that wraps it up for this episode of the Geek Arena, where freedom meets frags and the grind never stops. If you're not already part of the 1776 Discord, what are you doing? Come squat up, talk trash, drop memes, and be part of the most based gaming community on the internet. And hey, don't forget to smash that like button, follow us on Spotify and YouTube, and most importantly, leave us a 5-star review. Not 4, not 3, 5, or we'll send a level 99 paladin to your house. Until next time, stay sharp, stay salty, and always keep nerd turds burning.